Hello, everyone.
That's quite the countdown, Gerald.
Isn't that fun?
I love it.
But
Only you. Only you.
yes, and let me tell you, I'm always searching on YouTube, the audio library for fun stuff. So I'm always looking for that. What I would like to do is create one with that energy. That's the exit.
So the outro is opposed to the intro.
Yep, the outro instead of the intro. And but everyone, thank you for joining this casual where we get to meet and talk with the amazing JunoSphere. Hello, Juno.
Well, I don't know about amazing, but I am JunoSphere.
This is my world. If I say you are amazing.
Thank you. So are you. Just a reflection of you, darling.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Oh, and my apologies. I'm using a microphone and I just warped the fan, so it probably blew out some speakers. So
I think it was bad. It was good.
Juno's links are below, as well as the information about Juno and contacting them. I'm Tarot Stash. Please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, and subscribe. It's free. And everything that we say is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. So that I could make into a video too, but it's more fun to be able to do it live.
Oh, I love that you do it. It gives that little je ne sais quoi, you know. It's just.
Ooh. And she speaks French, everybody.
I took 3 years, and all I remember is "Où est la bibliothèque?"
Oh.
Imagine me wanting to know where the library was. Me, of all people.
What? Libraries? Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Juno, how are you on this fine February 15th, which is Juno Celebration Day? Something?
The Festival of Juno. Yeah. Juno Februata. Who knew? And it's also Lupercalia today. So it's all part of. There's a video of my channel from last year, I think it was, if you guys want to watch it, about Valentine's Day. It's got a lot of interesting history about it, but it also spills over in today.
I love it. I love it. So, well, I am honored that you have been patient in me getting you in the schedule. And I'm looking forward to learning all about you and sharing you with people who watch our channels.
Oh, thanks, Joe. So, I've been, you just know these things line up when the time's right. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And I've been wanted to collab with you way back when I first saw you. So this is a real treat for me, a real honor. So thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Let's say hi to some people because we do have, right now, we have 17 of the best chatters who are watching.
Hey, good number. That's an 8. That's infinity. So
it's an 8, and this is an 8 year in numerology. So,
and it's also a leap year this year.
It is. Tarot Stash is here. So mods, please
Who's
be
that guy?
One. I'm not sure.
Hey, you got a doppelganger out there. Did you know that?
Actually, I probably do. Fitnessity is here. Hello. Aquila B24 is here. Kaylee, Fogo Pogo, and Nancy Acrone's Intuition, who I am actually going to be hosting Nancy for a casual soon.
Nice.
David is here. Hi, David. Good to see you. This is Deanne. Blue Crescent Tarot is here. And of course, Flower Beauty Peacock Rainbow is here. Hello. Here you go. Here's validation. Yes, the amazing.
Oh, you're too sweet. And the person before that, the peacock, is Juno's bird. That's her identifying.
Yes.
Mythology goes.
It's very true. And Clarence Fields is here. Hi, Clarence.
Hey, Clarence.
Oh, here we go. Cosmic Blue Avian. Nicole, what time is it there? Is it? I know it's tomorrow, but is it early in the morning? Because, oops.
She's in Australia.
Yes. Sherry, Voices from the Swamp.
Is Sherry?
Hi,
She's
Sherry.
so sweet. We're going to do a show together on Sunday. We're on once a month now, the third Sunday of every month. So,
oh, nice.
Sherry and I will be reuniting.
Nice.
We're excited.
we're getting a little handsy there.
Yeah. Oh wait, a little. Did she say, "Hugh"? Are we ready, Gerald?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Little handsy.
little handsies. So I got handsies being handsy. Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, just
Well, but those glow in the dark. These don't.
yeah, and they're pens. I got them for Halloween. They cracked me up.
I love it.
I have been waiting for this for months, Gerald, just to do this. I got my own little hands. I'm not as dexterous with them as you are, though.
Well,
You're
it's
the man.
amazing it's amazing what one can do with chopsticks.
Oh, now I haven't seen those.
Yeah, rather than just eat. So
Are those really chopsticks? Like, could you really use those to eat with?
well, I mean, no, I put the
Oh,
top.
oh, you did. Okay, I was going to
Yeah,
say
but
that'd be an idea. I might be able to handle them that way. Oh, you.
But I yeah. Anyhow, Cosmic
I'm
Blue
slow,
Raven said,
sorry.
"You were both beautiful souls, and we're
Oh.
fortunate to be able to share with us." Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh, thank you. And Mary Thornberry is
Hi,
here.
Mary.
Lottie B, hello.
Hey,
And Liz in awe.
Liz.
Kathy Persons is here. Lori Huntsinger.
Hey, guys.
And it is 6 a.m.
Oh boy.
Well, there you go. Joe Beth is here. Hi, Joe Beth. And Sherry is looking forward to your lives. Now, what do you do on that with Sherry?
Well, we kind of started. We almost a year ago we started doing a lot with Jin Shin Jyutsu, and there are some couple good shows on there at the beginning where I get into detail and do some, teach some of the basics of Jin Shin Jyutsu, and then I also do the Destiny cards, which is reading with a regular deck of cards. It's one method. There's more than one method with a regular deck of cards.
Yes.
But this one is like it's not intuitive so much. It's pretty much set out like based on your birthday, then you're this card or that card. Like I'm the 5 of Hearts, disappointment by men, the classic divorce card. Now, why didn't I find that out before I was married and divorced and then lather, rinse, repeat,
Probably because you wouldn't have the experience that helped to make you who you are today.
Yeah, right. But it's one of those. I should have had a V8. Who is withholding this information from me? But
of course. Oh yeah.
So then, and we do some card readings and a little bit of everything. But
that's great.
Yeah.
And PD is here. Hello, PD. I owe so many people emails. I've had a busy couple of weeks, so PD is somebody that I owe an email to. And
that happens.
Sherry is going back into work lurking mode.
Okay.
So don't get into trouble. Look who's here. The Crone Zone conversations with the
Hey,
ancients.
Priscilla.
Hello.
Love Priscilla. She's a sweetheart. So all these people, everybody's wonderful.
Yeah. And Deanne, Blue Crescent Tarot, said, I thought the skeleton hands were part of the reading cloth this whole time. I trippy AF. So,
That's funny.
But okay, so this is Sherry is not at work. Okay.
Oh no, Sherry.
Oh, Sherry, I am so sorry. Bed mode.
And if we have to do something different for Sunday, don't worry. We'll reschedule. So you take care of you.
Yes.
Oh.
And Star Midnight is here. Hi, Star Midnight. So one of the challenging questions that I ask people to think about is I ask that phrase, what's your origin story? So, you've done cards for a really long time. Do you want to start there, or you want to do something else?
Well, I'll back up a little bit. I mean, I grew up next to a Native American reservation, so about a third of our school was Native American. And when I went to kindergarten and saw my first Native American friend, I went, "There's my people." And I know that doesn't make sense, but that was how I felt, as a kid.
Sure.
And then I ended up, my high school sweetheart was Native American and married him and lived on the reservation for a while. But I learned a lot, about their artwork and their customs and foods and things like that. And I have 2 children that are half Native American. So I have that that flavor, and that's always been there since I was a little kid, the interest in all things Native American.
Sure.
And then I ended up, my mother, when I was a teenager, started taking me to Lilydale to get readings. And Lilydale is the oldest spiritualist community in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty close to where I lived, like less than an hour's drive. And it's a really unique place. Sorry?
That is a really, that's a very unique place with all of the readers and the different types of readers. And
Have you been there?
I have not been there. My high priestess has actually taught classes there.
She's cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And they have a beautiful little gift shop there, the Crystal Cove, and a little museum. They're pretty much open in the summertime. But anyway, so I kind of had that influence already when I was young. And then skip ahead about 10 years, and I'm a single mother on my own, raising these kids. Unfortunately, things happen. People.
Sure.
But anyway, I moved into this HUD housing in Jamestown, New York, and turns out that the manager of the apartments, whose office was right across the street from mine, was the head of the spiritualist church in Lilydale. And he and I became really good friends. And, so then I started really going there. That was right before I moved out here in the early 90s to Arizona. But I mean, it's just like how spirit has just put me, I'm not seeking these things, but it's like when you're supposed to run across these people, you do.
Yes.
And, the night before I moved to Arizona, I had dinner with him at his house. That was the last person that I saw socially. So he and I were really close. Remember when A&E used to do those shows about things in the early 90s, kind of about paranormal, things like that? He's been on the show a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Ron Robertson, real sweet man. He's on the side now. But, and then I just had enough of Western New York and the snow, and, we get 2 seasons, winter and the 4th of July. We just kind of had enough. And those low pressure systems and everything were just wreaking havoc with me physically. So I sold everything and packed my 2 kids in the car, and we moved to Arizona by the seat of our pants and to the Verde Valley. And I always was interested in a lot of this healing stuff, but I didn't really know what it was just kind of getting tastes of it here and there. But
sure.
So, and I can remember driving down the road and thinking, I want to learn these things. I want to learn these things. How will I ever know any of this? And now I look back and it's like I'm in such a different place now, but it was one step at a time.
Yes.
One opportunity came along. And for instance, I had an issue with a landlord that caused me to have to get an attorney to protect my rights. And that attorney ended up hiring me to work for them part-time. And one of their clients came in Sedona, and she was a professional psychic and hypnotist and card reader and all these things. And she just volunteered to apprentice me out of the blue to read destiny cards and tarot cards. So this was in the early 90s.
Okay.
So she took me under her wing. I have a really cool book. When you're talking, I'll get up and get it, and I'll show you this really cool book for destiny cards. It's nothing I've ever seen. That's what I'm saying. You just never know. Then I met a girl. I do seed bead work, and I was trying to get prices. I don't know how to price these things. And I go into a bead shop, and I meet this woman, and we become best friends. And then she ends up about 4 or 5 years later calling me up and says, "Hey, how would you like to be an operator on a psychic hotline? And your office is right across the street from Bell Rock." Oh, gee, I don't know. And I wasn't doing readings. I was just the operator. We connect people. This was in the early 2000s. And literally, the building I was in was the last building. I'm sure it's not there anymore, but it was right across the street from Bell Rock. So that's what I looked at out my window.
Wow.
So, like I said, Spirit's got these things in mind for me that I've been looking back going, how the heck did I get here? And then I follow those breadcrumbs, Yeah.
Well, and PD says, and when that wheel of fortune is spinning, it doesn't stop. Yeah. And,
I do this method of with the tarot cards called 100 Years of Tarot. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not. Do share.
It's sort of based on the numerology, and then there's a way that you work through it. And we pretty much go through most of our life is a 9-year cycle. Well, I have the death card 11 times in my 100 Years Tarot. And I've not seen anybody even close to that. Some people have, it never comes up. And it doesn't mean I died that many times. It just means I'm constantly transforming every 9 years.
Is that like an overachiever thing? I mean, because, there are other ways to overachieve.
Yeah. Well, and I was born at 3:33 on the 333rd day of the year during leap year.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Oh my
How do
gosh.
you live? How do you do that?
Yes.
Nobody gave me a manual. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think you're supposed to write it, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, I've been told that a few
Yeah.
times.
So
I
we
even
have,
had that book, the book you were supposed to write, and that's as far as I got.
yeah. We've had a couple of more people come in. Book Bewitched
Hey,
is here.
book.
Says hello, magical Gerald, and my healer Juno.
Oh, she's so sweet. Hope
And
you're doing well, book.
Pamela Batchelor is here. And T Barb has said, tell
Hey,
JunoSphere I'm
T-Barb.
here.
Love T-Barb. She's awesome.
Juno, T Barb is here.
Hey, T-Barb. Thanks for telling me.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you're here.
I always want to be helpful. And
Mm-hmm.
Jules, learning to listen, is here. Phoenix Energy.
Oh, you want to see some Phoenix energy? Speaking
Of
of
course.
that, she must be
Yes.
psychic. If Priscilla is still here from the Crone Zone, I'm crocheting for her a phoenix bird,
Uh-huh.
but I made for her a special treat to go under the phoenix bird. So this is like the flames. There's 26 different colors. Every row is a different color.
Look at that.
So that'll be the base that the phoenix will sit on.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Wow. And
So there's the phoenix energy.
is that crochet or knitted?
It's crochet. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's fine. It comes out real fine and detailed because I use embroidery floss.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And Delphi Ross is here.
Hey, Delphi.
And Jules to learn is like going, you made that? No way. It's like,
Well, I made this one too.
yes, way. Yes.
This one is I made when the war in Ukraine started. This is in honor of there's a short video on my channel about this, and it's all there's hearts in the center, and then there's these hearts, and then you can't quite see it, but out here there's little white hearts that make a ring all the way around, and that's all of us that are praying for all of the people who are affected, whoever they are, wherever they are, by the war in Ukraine. So
wow, yeah, a lot of love for your work.
Oh, thank you.
So.
It's I'm channeling it. It's coming through spirit. It's yeah. All whenever you see when I'm on, my backgrounds are always something that I crochet, and
yeah,
it keeps me alive.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you, T Barb. T Barb said I wasn't subscribed, so I couldn't post.
Oh, yay! You got a new subscriber, Gerald.
Yeah. Welcome, T Barb. You're one of the best chatters.
Well, and these mandalas, since we're on that at the moment, I'll leave this up here because you can see in the other one. But when I moved here, which was kind of traumatic in February of 2020, and everything was upside down. I won't go into all the sorry details, but I was pretty freaked out. I had to move an hour away, and it was not a good situation. I didn't know anybody, and I this territory where I live was already Confederate, even during the Civil War. The farthest west Civil War battle was fought between Phoenix and Tucson at Picacho Peak.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was kind of like, oh my gosh. But I had my crochet hooks and my art stuff, and my yarns, and Spirit said, start making these mandalas. And you're going to be weaving healing, and there's coding, there's information, there's prayers, there's like every stitch is a prayer. That there's something in these that's going to somehow transmit information, and I don't really know it. I just go with it, and then I get all done and I go, holy cow, did I do that?
Yes.
It's a spiritual experience making them, and so beautiful. A lot of people have them, like, I've made things for a lot of different. Now I have to make you something now, Jimmy. I have to make you a big mustache. I don't know what should I make. I'll have to work the mustache into the pattern. That'll be fun. I like a challenge.
There you go. Well, we have had even more people come in, so
who's here?
Let's get caught up. A lot of love. Judith.
Hey, Judith. Big hugs.
Bellevue. Sorry.
Bellevue, I think.
Bellevue. Thank you. Oh, that's right. You took 3 years of French. So. Well,
I know her too.
That helps. And Nancy said that was exquisite. PD wants to get that in a skirt.
Yeah.
So, yep, it's stunning. And Sydney is here. Hello, Sydney. Gorgeous fiber art. Yes. And Jules, learning to listen, said the lost arts. This is a beautiful sentiment. given the artistry of the Ukrainian women. Yes, yes. There was a question. How long did that take to make? Or
Well, it depends. Like this one here, because I when I do a new pattern, when I'm working it, I keep track to the minute.
Mhm.
I started this row at this minute, and I put my hook down at this minute. This one took me 8 hours,
Okay,
and then there's 26 different colors. So
I love that.
yeah, the big ones can take me months.
Hmm.
The biggest one I have, I think, is 46 or 48 inches across.
Wow.
Yeah, it can take, and then then you have this one doesn't show because I worked them all in, but you turn around in the back and there'll be all these threads everywhere.
Yep.
And it can take a whole day just to work
Yep.
the ends in.
Yep.
And like when you get embroidery floss, you get 8 or 9 yards in a skein. And so like I have to buy big, bulky
Hmm.
bags of like 450 colors or something through Amazon. Then I sort them. It takes me months to actually just even prepare the yarns.
Yeah.
And wind them all. I mean, I spent 2 months this last year just winding, like 8 hours a day, just winding yarn and sorting it so that I can do things like this and have the gradations of color. And
Of course. Yeah, that's beautiful. The gradations of color are wonderful. Book Bewitched would be framing that.
yeah, and I'm doing some little. I'm going to be offering some things for sale, and I'm going to be I make some small ones and I'll put them in rings like a sun catcher. I'll be adding crystals to them. There's like
That's
sky's the limit. So.
I love that. Donna, artist and oracles, is here listening whilst putting away groceries. And yeah, T Barb says she makes beautiful crochet.
Oh,
Just
thanks,
purchased
T
some of it. Oh, and you inspired Cosmic Blue Avian to
Hey.
teach themselves how to crochet.
That's excellent. Well, my mother taught me to embroider when I was 5, and I was sewing on a machine at 8, and I was crocheting and knitting by 10.
Mm.
So I've been at it, but good for you that you taught yourself. That's awesome.
That's really, really wonderful. Spiritual Shield Maiden Mystic Lightworker is here. Hello. And yeah, made with love, definitely. And
Oh, every stitch is a prayer. Like especially when I know, like I knew I was creating this for Priscilla, everything. I just think about her. I play certain music. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole process.
And
I get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, meditation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meditation.
Yep.
Fatima is here. Hello. And yeah. Yeah, it's a good form of meditation, and you can put your intentions into every stitch. That was something when I first really started to learn how to knit, and I would just get into the rhythm of the knitting. I was paying very close attention to the way I was feeling and what I was thinking whilst doing it, because it matters. It matters.
It does. It does. It shows in the in the evenness of your stitches, because there's a whole thing about the tension, having it not too tight, not too loose. And I was going to mention, for anybody who's a fan of Danny Shea's channel, the piece behind him with the UFO, and it says, "I believe," I crocheted that for him, and it's got aliens in it in bathrobes because he's bathrobe tarot. So they've each got, and they're actually a full bathrobe with a tie. Like I made the bathrobe separate and then attached them, and I made one like that also for Dr. Gale, and it's got Skywalking the Moon crocheted right into it across the top.
That's beautiful.
So it's been, it's my way. I deal with a chronic pain project, among other things, and so I spend a lot of time that I have to be laid up. So compared to other people, and not as mobile. So it keeps me sane, and it's also pain relieving.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Made her grandmother and aunt made tons of those. I have a big box full of different ones. I think those are definitely prized possessions in my mind. So,
yeah, it's a labor of love,
Yes. Well, and I think that's so. Okay, so you're on reservations, and then you got to go to Lilydale, your reservations. Then you moved to, you moved west.
And I lived in Sedona for several years, and I was glad I was there, but it got to be too commercial for me.
I
When I
understand.
first moved to that area in 1993, in Sedona, in order to get a landline phone, this was before cell phones, you had to wait till somebody died or moved away. And it might be 2 months or, whatever. You
Oh
had to
my
wait. I
gosh.
mean, it was really rustic compared to now. But it's a beautiful place, and I'm glad I had the opportunity.
Uh-huh.
I lived in Flagstaff for 3 years, went to NAU up there. And then I ended up moving down to south of Tucson.
Uh-huh.
And, well, I'll back up a little bit to, if you want me to get into the how did I get into Jin Shin Jyutsu story. I don't know if
I
you.
would love, first of
Okay.
all, yes. What is it and how
Yeah.
did you get into it?
Well, I got back up a little when I was 3 years old. Lucky me, we came down with mono, and they didn't really know how to treat it back then so much. It was like, oh, just get over it. That was how, and I almost died from it. So
Oh,
it turned
goodness.
into fibromyalgia. So I felt like this worn out, painful rag doll my whole, ever since I was a kid, and no one would understand me.
Uh-huh.
Trying to explain things. They're really sensitive to chemicals. I mean, the wind blows the wrong way. I'm a hothouse orchid. I can't help it. It's not by
Mm-hmm.
choice. Believe me. I wouldn't wish this
Mm-hmm.
on anybody.
Yes.
You go down the aisle where the laundry soap is, and then you go home and go to
Yeah.
bed for the day because you got a
Yep.
migraine. Just
Yep.
out there in the world, or
Mhm.
working in places and somebody's got perfume on, so it's
Yes.
very limiting. It's a challenge.
Mhm.
But nobody would understand. Even, you go to therapists and stuff and nobody identified it. Well, while I was going to NAU, and fortunately I had health insurance through the college, I went to the doctor because I thought, well, do I have altitude sickness? Because Flagstaff is really high up there,
Uh-huh.
and she did all the tests and everything on me and diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, which at least, at least I found out, oh, I never heard of it before,
Yeah.
but and then you read the books and it's like, oh, this makes it, this,
Yes.
you see
Yeah.
all the things that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So she sent me to a pain management doctor who I worked with for 2 years, and we did long bouts of physical therapy, shots in my back, chiropractic, you name it, exercise, all these things.
Oh God.
Changed my diet, everything you can think of. I couldn't tolerate the medications, and I wasn't getting any better. So after 2 years, she goes, look, and I was the first person when they got their new thermography machine. That's the thing where they see they can tell where pain is in your body because it shows up by colors. So I was
Uh-huh.
the first person that they used for in their office. But anyway, she says, I don't know. I've done all my bag of tricks, but nothing. You're not getting better. So some people have benefited by this energy work. I can't even pronounce it. She said, but I'll send you over there. Give you a referral to
Mm-hmm.
this other doctor. So
Mm-hmm.
wow, after 2 sessions, it was like somebody put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Wow.
I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of it. It wasn't just on one. It wasn't like, oh, it just relieved my pain.
Uh-huh.
But it's helped me get pain down to where it's more discomfort than pain. So it's a little more manageable. But I was lucky enough that because she worked in a clinic, she could code it. I got sessions almost every 2 weeks for 5 years, and my insurance paid for it.
Wow. Okay.
So, and those sessions, Jin Shin Jyutsu is cumulative, like a lot of things are. So, when you have a
Sure.
session, then it just builds and builds and builds and builds. And so after the second session with her, I said, I got to know more. I'm like waving my hand in the air in the office, like, tell me more. This is great. I want to know it. Spill
Yeah.
it, girls. How do I learn this? What is this?
Uh-huh.
And so she said, well, the main office is in Scottsdale. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. In the whole world, the main office is within hours of where I live.
Wow.
And she says, go on the website and check it out. Well, at this point in time, I'm on disability and you don't get a lot of money. And
No.
the
Yeah.
classes were, like a whole month's income. And I
Mm-hmm.
went back to my doctor and I said, well, I loved it. I'm really interested, but, I can't afford that. She goes, well, they have scholarships.
Ooh.
So I encourage people, if you're really interested in something and you can't afford it, you're in a situation, you know what I mean? Ask about scholarships. So I got
Yes.
scholarships for 3 years. So how it is the way they recommend it at the time, and this was 20 years ago, you took a 5-day class, which is almost like going to medical school.
Sure.
You learn a lot about the body in an energetic way, but you're still learning about how the body functions. And then you practice a year on yourself, anybody you can guinea pig, then you go back and you take another 5-day class. So over 3 years, they awarded me scholarships for 3 years,
Oh,
which
that's
then after that, you can become a practitioner. That's beyond
mm-hmm.
doing the self-help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm just so grateful for that opportunity that was a possibility for me.
Yes.
And, when you can't take the meds and everything, it was just such a wonderful opportunity. Well, then when I moved down south here, I uh, there's a lot of well, there's not a lot, but there's teachers all over the world, but there's not a whole lot of them. Well, one of them happened to be right in Tucson, and I heard really good things about her, and I took a self-help class with her at her home, which is like, oh my God. The whole place, the walls and the ceiling are painted turquoise. So when you're in there, you're in an
Wow.
environment. The furniture's turquoise leather. Just beautiful. I was like, oh, can I stay? Like even on the evaluation form afterwards, I was like, can I move in?
Right.
It's just loving people. And her husband is an acupuncturist and a Chinese herbalist in
Mm-hmm.
Tucson. So just wonderful people. Well, she and I ended up getting really connected and being good friends. So I ended up helping her teach classes. So she would let me help in exchange for the classes. And so I've mentored, and Sarah studied under Mary Burmeister, who's the woman who brought it from Japan to the U.S. in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
She studied under Mary for decades.
Uh-huh.
After me, like,
Wow.
really close. So, and Sarah's a really good friend of mine. Like on my advanced directive, she's the person that's how close I feel to her.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, I just had these wonderful opportunities kind of fall in my lap. And then she said, and I love crystals. I've been a crystal person my whole life, and I make jewelry and all kinds of art out of crystals. And she calls me up one day and she says, hey, you know about crystals. How would you like to work at the Gem Show? And I'm like, this is a dream I've had for decades. Are you kidding me? So I worked side by side with her and another of my good friends, Jenny Falber, who's also a Jin Shin Jyutsu person in Tucson for 6 years, and just one of the best experiences of my life. Intense, very intense, but just unbelievable. Over half of all the gems and beads in the world are here in Tucson for the Gem Show. Wow. So then I wonder what other galactic beings are hovering above, going, ooh, get in on that energy,
Well, yes, and I think, and Juno did tell me that she's going to share a mudra with everybody a little bit later, so stick with us. And so you said that is a cumulative practice, and that makes sense to me because again, for entertainment purposes only, I can only drive in the state in which I live. So, but I guess it's like ritual, and I've talked about this before, that the more you do something with intention, the stronger that power gets, and you can connect to it, and you can access past energy and create future energy. So I just was thinking, I think that's many things are cumulative.
They are. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It wasn't just limited to Jin Shin Jyutsu, but any kind of healing work you do, I believe, is cumulative. Oh, thanks, Nina. She's a sweetheart.
Yes. All sorts of knowledge. Yep.
And, another thing is, and I'm also attuned to be a Reiki master. And I started on both those journeys at about the same time, but I definitely delved much deeper into my Jin Shin Jyutsu studies. But to me, Reiki is like the umbrella, and Jin Shin Jyutsu is the specialist. Okay. So my friend that I told you that I met at the bead store that ended up asking me to work for the psychic hotline, she called me up because she got into the Reiki thing before I did, and so that's how I got into it. But she said, "Oh, they're having a Reiki share in Sedona. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. What is that?" Okay. And I had just taken my first 5-day Jin Shin Jyutsu class, which all I could remember was energy goes down the front and up the back. So as you exhale, the energy goes down, and then when you inhale, it comes up the back. It's like an egg. So anyway, and we're in this beautiful the creative center there. I can't remember the name of it, but like this beautiful setting, I mean, it was just the ultimate to go to this Reiki share in this stone building with a fireplace. And it was totally Southwest, just gorgeous. And laying on the massage table, and this is my first Reiki experience. And there was a Reiki master at my feet and a Reiki master at my head.
Wow.
And they said, just close your eyes, So, me, I'm not, maybe overachiever. I don't know, possibly. But I'm laying there thinking, well, how can I help this? How can I assist this energy? So all I could remember from Jin Shin Jyutsu is energy goes down the front and up the back. So I just laid there on the table and just said in my mind, down the front and up the back, down the front and up the back, down the front and up the back. 20 minutes later, I open my eyes. I look at them. Their eyes are like saucers. They're looking at me like, what did you do? And they said, you got so hot, we thought we were going to burn our hands. And all I was doing,
That's an overachiever, just saying.
But I didn't mean to be.
No, you're like me, because I am, Juno, I'm a very similar way. Because if somebody's doing some work, I go, what can I do to help this?
Right.
And sometimes that's, it takes different forms, but.
And sometimes it's just be, don't try.
Yes.
But the fact that people who were already at the master level were experiencing this, I'll never forget the look on their faces. They were just like, oh, shit, do we dare? I mean, I had my hands get warm before, but never, those were their exact words. We thought we were going to burn our hands.
So basically their eyes were this big?
Yeah, they were. You were the guy with the googly eyes. Imagine having 4 of those eyes looking at you after you've had this peaceful moment in Sedona. You're like, oh, and then they're like, oh my God, she's going to burst into flame.
And I would imagine it was a gift. It was a gift to them as well.
Well, yeah, and it's also just showing, even if you can't, your hands are busy and you can't do the things, think them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Run it in your mind, because it does help.
Yeah. Let me get caught up on chat.
I'm talking too much.
Madam Marie, you're doing fine. If you're talking too much, I will mute you. But
gee, thanks, Gerald.
But Marie,
you're supposed to do that and not tell me, and then go, "Oops! Oh, did I mute you?"
Yeah, no, I would totally do it on purpose and with big flair and probably a fan twerp. Sydney said, "Wow, you should come up and visit where I live." Yes, California. You'd fit in right here.
Nice.
And Lori Huntsinger said yes. I think it's repetition builds powerful body memories and deep neural pathways in our brain. Double win. And and T. Barb said, I send healing golden energy to my 13-year-old German Shepherd. She shouldn't still be here. And I do a procedure Juno told me about. My German Shepherd now plays again like a puppy, although slower.
Wow. Yeah, I'm also certified. I've studied to work on animals for 3 years, and I had Adele on my channel. I'll talk about that when you're done with the people. Yeah.
Michelle Marie is here. Hello. Good to see you. Hello, Jonathan, who is there probably with Michelle. Jules loves the story. How blessed to be given the opportunities. Yes.
You ain't heard nothing yet either.
Oh my gosh. The medium Betsy Palmer is here. Hello, Betsy. Good to see you.
Ooh, whale watch. Tell him I said hello, please.
I love that. Whale watching. Okay. Sometimes it feels like someone is watching me. We had them ready. Well, yeah, sometimes.
I love it. It's so fun.
So, and yeah, Jules is like, okay, we need to talk to you. So, and yeah.
Yeah, my email's at the bottom there. The JunoSees at Gmail, SEES for C. So
yes,
anybody wants to contact me.
All right.
I was just going to tell you, on the heels of manifesting things, I had bought an old RV because I thought, well, if I have an RV, it'll be cheaper to live. Trust me, it's not. It's more of a challenge. Anyway, I'm driving down the road in my car at the time, thinking to myself, I don't know where I'm going to park this thing. Like, my options had run out. I didn't know what I was going to do. I kind of painted myself in a corner. I'm just driving down the road, and as soon as I said, Archangel Michael, help me, my phone rang. And this woman that I had met, didn't really know her. I mean, I'd been to her house a few times. We were friends, but not real close friends. She was from California. She says, how would you like to house sit for me at my log cabin ranch just south of Sedona that's got about $1 million worth of crystals in a museum setting for 3 years for free with a pool and a spa? And you can watch the ETs over Mingus Mountain every night. How would you like that?
How quickly?
Anybody who says, I don't know how, you got to ask for things. And, let me tell you, I've had a lot of struggles. These are the highlights, people. But, if you can, I mean, if you don't try to pigeonhole what you're asking for, if you say this or something better, you'd be amazed. I mean, I can't believe it. It was just amazing. And I took photographs. I have like 8,000 photos of her whole collection that I took.
Wow.
That I'm going to make into cards. I'm doing, I'm working on some things behind the scenes, but
I love that. Well, see, and if you don't ask, you can't receive.
Right.
So
generously give and graciously receive.
Correct. Very, very true.
It's a lot of people get caught up in, well, I'm just a giver. I'm not comfortable receiving. Well, then you're not completing the circuit, and then it's more about control, and not really being in the flow of things. Like Mary Burmeister would say, be a fountain, not a reservoir. Let things keep moving through you, or that water gets stagnant and stinky, and you don't want it in. And then nobody wants it.
Well, yes, and I also learned. I took a class about energy work, and part of that is energy work and money, finances. Money is energy. You need to prove to the universe you know how to handle it. Give some of it away, invest it, spend it wisely, because then you can get more of it. So, but it's great.
Back to the animal part of Jin Shin Jyutsu in the early 2010s. Through Jin Shin Jyutsu, there's a woman called Adele Lee. So she took the Jin Shin Jyutsu for people idea, but the whole thing and adapted it to animals. And so she has just an amazing practice. And she's another angel on earth that goes and works with, like after Hurricane Katrina, she went and worked with all the cats in the shelter, and she's just an amazing person. So she came to Tucson, and so I took over 3 years. I took the different classes. It's like the same that we did the other places. You study for a year, and we would go for 3 days. We would go to the Humane Society and work with the dogs, and then the other 2 days we would work with rescue horses and like miniature horses and donkeys and things like that. So it's all about working with the rescue animals. And like the first class I went to, there were dogs there that, some of them just don't get adopted, they're there for a long time. And there was a dog there that one or two of them that after we worked on them in the morning, we came back from lunch, and in the afternoon, their energy had shifted so much they'd been adopted. I mean, it's just incredible. And so, that was another situation. Adele allowed me to do trades with her. She's got a lot of my crochet and a lot of different things I've made for her. But, there's ways. If there's a will, there's a way. And I believe even if you get a scholarship, offer something back, however it can be, if it's volunteering or whatever, or spreading the word about what good work somebody's doing.
Yes.
So there's some concepts in Jin Shin Jyutsu that's the different depths, like you go from skin surface to deep skin, to muscle to bone, like all these different, but it's related to astrology and numerology and crystals and days of the week and tastes and smells and all these things. So, but we were given the information in a typewritten sheet as a chart. Well, it's hard for me to retain anything from that. So I created these collages for the depths with all that information. I made 6 of them. And you know how my style is now. You guys have seen how I do stuff. This I did like 15 years ago, maybe not quite. Anyway, Adele was so impressed with those. She now uses them as a teaching tool in her class. She said and I'm not saying, I am honored. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just like, this means so much to me, that she said it's the best depiction she has ever seen of these concepts. That's beautiful. So she uses them in her teaching, and then the people who take the class can buy them. And all over the world, these pieces of art they're hanging on people's walls in their treatment rooms. It just gets, I'm sorry, I'm very clumped over this because it means so much to have that honor.
That's
To be part
great.
of that teaching art, So, yeah, just
Well,
it's very
yeah,
dear to my heart.
that's beautiful. Oh, thank you for that. I think this is one of those times when we think about this, when we follow our heart, follow the follow the energy per se, and then we share with people what we've done. We don't really know the impact that it can have until we talk to somebody and they
Exactly.
appreciate it. So that's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's just, and she just, well, she was on Illumination Portal. Valerie and I did a show on, was it January 9th, and it's on Valerie's channel. I haven't got it on my channel yet, but with Adele, and she has her dog there, and she demonstrates how to work with work with her dog, and tells her story.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
But just I met the most inspiring people, and
I love
I've
that.
I've seen miracles. Like, can I tell a story? Are we?
Absolutely. Please do. Please
I
do.
So my friend Sarah Harper, she she grew up in a very progressive house when she was younger, and like a lot of this healing stuff was pretty much commonplace with her. Like, she
Mhm.
went to see, her mother took her to see Mary Burmeister when she was a teenager.
Okay.
And Sarah's my age. I'm 65. Secret's out. Anyway, hey, it's a badge of honor at this point.
Yes, I agree with you.
I've earned every minute of it. And so she said it was fine, but I didn't really have like this big aha, whoa, holy thing, but it was fine. So, but she kind of rebelled, and she went against what her parents' lifestyle was, and she got into public relations. She put herself through college. By 21, she owned her own home, and she owned her own white Porsche, and she
Wow.
was enjoying life. Well,
Uh-huh.
she's sitting at a stoplight in Tucson and at a red light, and a drunk driver going 60 hits her head on.
Ooh.
She has horrific injuries, skull separated from her spine. It's a happy story in the end. Don't worry, people. Don't get depressed. It's a good story. It's inspiring. So she dies on the side of the road. They have to bring her back to life, and she's got severe head injuries, and her eye and her head is, one side is like really swollen, and her eye is all bulging out. And when they got her in the hospital, they were going to call in a surgeon from another, like probably from Phoenix. So it was going to be a while, a couple hours or something before they got there. So she tells her mother, "You get me out of this hospital now. Like, they're not drilling in my head." Took her
Uh-huh.
home. They did nothing but Jin Shin Jyutsu and Chinese herbs, and she fully recovered.
Wow.
So Mary Burmeister would come and work on her, or she would go, however, they got together. And so one of the ways that energy flows in the body is in a figure eight. Okay. So if it's your right forehead, you're going to go to your left ankle, right? You're going to go to the opposite. So
Uh-huh.
Mary was holding this ankle, which was not injured in the accident. And Sarah said, "I saw God. It was so painful, but it acted like a vacuum, and it sucked all that swelling out of her face."
Oh.
So that was really cool. Well, now fast forward to about 10 years ago, Sarah is out of town, like maybe Denver or somewhere, teaching. Second day of class. So everybody knows her. She wakes up that morning. All of a sudden, after all these years, this swelling is back on her face.
Mm.
So she's like, "Oh, I don't feel good, but what do I do?" And then
Uh-huh.
well, I'm going to go to class. She's one of these people, got to go to class. And she is so strong. She fully recovered, by the way. She travels the world now and teaches Jin Shin Jyutsu. She had to learn and walk and talk again. She has 2 healthy children. You know what I mean? It's a great story, but I mean, it could have been really tragic, worst of the worst. So anyway, she wakes up and so she goes to class the second day, and there's like 30, 40 people in there, and they're all freaking out because she looks pretty weird. And she goes, "Just calm down. I'm gonna lay on the table. I'll tell you where to put your hands." And they did, and they all watched her face go back to normal.
Wow.
So, when I say, when you see things, it's possible to really see things. And then they're like, "Hey, do it again." It's not a parlor trick. I don't want to do it again. But I mean, this is how dramatic it can be. Now, this doesn't mean every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But and I want to touch on what you mentioned about intent. it enhances it, but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's not a belief based. This is like your jumper cabling when you
Yes.
put your hands in. You know, there's safety energy locks on the body.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Valerie, she's sweet. So, yeah, it's just amazing stuff. I have a friend who I had met when I was down in Tubac, and he was a former animal trainer from California, and he was out here and was renting a ranch and had a horse that was really fond of me. I had a shop in Tubac, and she used to try to walk into my shop, and I'm like, I've got glass cases there. Here's this horse, and the horse is like, but I love you, man. I love you, man. You got those essential oils. You got all that energy. I want it. You know, put your hands here. So anyway, I had told him about Adele's book, and he bought it, but I'd never gone over anything with him or showed him anything in person. And he tries to call me at 11 o'clock one night. And, you know, sometimes I turn my phone off because I do like to sleep. And so I didn't hear his call, but she was down with colic, and colic can kill a horse in a short time. And he said, so he calls me the next day and he says, so I pulled the book out that you told me to get, and I read what it said, and I did what it said. And within 15 minutes, that horse was up walking around taking some dumps and was all better.
Wow.
So you don't have to be an expert, you know?
Yeah. I think intent is a big thing, but you don't also, it's like with Reiki. You don't have to believe it, you know, you don't have to believe in it. It just is going to work.
Yeah. Well, and they have had people in hospitals, like they'll do, what is it, the EEG, you know, where they do the test where they can see the electrical system in the body, and then they'll have somebody do Jin Shin Jyutsu, and then they do the readings and it shows.
Yeah.
There's a whole hospital wing in New Jersey that's devoted to Jin Shin Jyutsu because they're seeing how much it helps people.
I love that. I love that. So I figured we could end with talking about YouTube, but would you like to show us a mudra?
Yeah, I was going to show a really simple one. Now you'll see this. I've done some videos and I'm hoping to get back to them. But there's several mudra videos on my channel. There's a playlist.
I'm going to embiggen you.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So it's really simple. It's just putting your fingertips together like this.
Okay.
Okay. So this is good for, and I got to get the book closer. Sorry, I don't have this all memorized, but this is good to connect to the earth. It's really good for, let's see. Pardon me, people. I have a little vision issue here. Supporting balanced illumination reduces stress and high blood pressure. And the health of the skeletal system deepens our sense of embodiment and connection to the earth. So any kind of grounding, or, you know, if you're, you can do a lot with this. I've heard a lot of people talking about having high blood pressure issues lately. Just touching, I'm actually touching my fingertips together. And then since I've got my hands here, I'll also show you guys the simple, you know, if you hold thumb for worry, this is Jin Shin Jyutsu, thumb for worry, index finger for fear, middle finger for anger. And Mary would say that you Americans, that's the only one you got right. Middle finger for anger. Ring finger for grief or sadness. That's, you know, we wear our wedding ring on our ring finger. You know, they say that there's a blood vessel that goes to the heart. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, that's there is a reason why energetically that's a good finger. And then pinky finger is pretense or trying to be somebody you're not, trying to, you know, laugh when you're sad, or anything where you're not being authentic. But you're also doing stomach and spleen with the thumb, kidney and bladder with the index finger, lung and large intestine. No, excuse me. Liver and gallbladder with the middle finger, pardon me. Lung and large intestine with the ring finger, and heart and small intestine with the pinky finger. And if you can't remember, you won't remember all that right away. And you can always replay the video. But if you just hold each one of your fingers, start with the thumb and go all the way out, and then you can do the other hand. Even, you know, 5 inhales and exhales per finger a day. There's 144,000 functions in the body. Each finger harmonizes 14,400 of those functions.
Wow.
Okay. And you can play around and you can hold, like, see, now I got my thumb down in the palm, because the palm of the hand has all of the energies. It's very powerful. And putting your hands together in prayer position, people who ask, how do I become more psychic? How do I increase my intuition? This is one way. So, and then when I was talking about worry, fear, anger, sadness, and trying to, is you can think W fast if you go that way. Those are the 5 attitudes. So if you feel yourself having one, starting to get worried. Well, before it takes grip on you, hold your thumb and harmonize that. Babies are so wise. What do babies do?
They suck their thumbs.
Thumbs. They're harmonizing. My daughter sucked her thumb in the womb. She had a blister on her finger from sucking your thumb. So that's what, babies are harmonizing.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I want to show people this. If you hold your thumb with one finger and then wrap the other hand around your index finger, you've got worry and fear covered right there. I do this at the dentist.
Wow.
Dental.
Okay.
So I just wanted to leave people with a few practical things, and you can switch sides, do whatever's comfortable. But just to kind of get you started, some things that you can do when you're sitting and watching TV or riding in the car, start holding your fingers.
So it's probably a good idea to do it on both sides to help balance it.
You can, it's not necessary, but it's a good thing. Yeah. But if all you can do is one is better than none.
Mm-hmm. Book shared Science Meets Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And Fogo Kaylee said, can we just hold the whole hand? Well,
you can do a lot of different things. It's just like the mudras. There's all these different positions, play around with it. But if you really want, now, say pinky finger is stomach small intestine and heart. So if someone's having a heart attack, you can keep them alive till they get medical help. Disclaimer, don't not get medical, but if you're on your way to get medical help, you can hold the pinky finger on the left hand. It can keep someone alive till they get medical help. It's generally, but also it's small intestine energy, and small intestine is where we sort all the different food out. So it's also where we sort our thoughts out. When you've got analysis paralysis, get a grip on those pinky fingers. And you can get in there. You can, we call it detailing, where you can get in and really work each knuckle, each little bit. And when you find the place where the tension is, that's where the energy starts. Wow. So you hold there till it releases. Mary would say, muscles don't hurt and bones don't hurt. Tension hurts.
I like that. Bones don't hurt. Muscles don't hurt. Energy hurts.
Tension hurts.
Tension hurts.
Yeah.
Michelle Marie said we do mudras during mantra practices, especially connect to Kali's mudra.
Nice.
And Beth Aspasia Rising is here.
Hey, Aspasia Rising.
And it's like mudras can really help you breathe. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And books, whole body is reacting. So nice. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah, get a grip.
Yeah, there you go. What is it? The 5 G's. Good golly, girl, get a grip.
Wow, you just quoted. Wow. Okay, that's good. That's good.
You've not heard that one before?
Oh, I've heard it. Yes.
I thought. Yeah, I was going to say. I think you know where that came from.
Yes, yes. Latrice Royale.
Yes.
So I'll be doing this one.
Yeah.
So that's great.
So I'm working on putting together some classes and some self-help classes, and a variety of things. If you guys are interested in things, and I also offer a lot of different readings and private readings. I can teach you self-help, Jin Shin Jyutsu. I'm getting my computer thing. I'm another step closer to doing live Zoom and all that. So hang on, people. I'm getting there.
Well, you're getting there, and I think that's just wonderful. And by the way, for people who have missed it, I have put in Juno's YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you, Gerald.
So, and Donna said, love Jin Shin Jyutsu. Thanks for the finger holding lesson. I do this when really stressed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of number of books, illustrated books on mudras.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jules learning to listen said, for the classes. So this is good. So your YouTube, which I'm going to put right up here, you're going to do some lives sometime in the future. No rush.
Getting closer. I'm going to be showing more than my bony fingers. Do these gloves make my butt look big? That's what I want. Honey, if it's big, it's big. It ain't the gloves.
Oh my gosh. Beth said I took an entire workshop on mudras. I had no idea going into it at all or into it all. So there is a to learn, yet another thing to learn. Yes.
In our spare time.
You do something on your channel called Mindless Moments. Tell us about that.
Well, this is something Spirit just kind of got me going on again. I did a video about the Fibonacci sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was investigating that spiral, the Fibonacci sequence, you get into the ammonite, that spiral.
Mm-hmm.
I ran across this kaleidoscope that was a big spiral, and I used it at the very end, but it was like, this was such a cool kaleidoscope. I could only use a few seconds of it, at the end of this video. But then I started thinking, well, let's use the whole thing. And I went, then Spirit goes, well, put it to music, make different moods. They're about just, and I've had some debate over, well, should it be mindless? I don't know about mindless. Should it be mindful? And to me, it's like, no, you're just checking out. You're just there for the ride.
Yes.
You're not trying to meditate. If you do, great, but that's not the goal. Is just check out, just go for a little ride.
Yep.
Be in the moment wherever it takes you. So, I do 2 a day, and that's because I started doing them as a short, so you can watch them on your cell phone. And then somebody said, well, I want to watch it the other way on my TV so I can really see it. So I do 2 every day for you people just to keep everybody happy. And I'm so grateful for the people who watch them, because I think they're so much fun.
Yes. I think it's one of those things that we do need, those mindless moments.
Yeah, just check out, because we've got too much we have to be on,
Yep.
I mean, who would think back when you and I were growing up, Gerald, that you would want to talk on the phone in the bathroom?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because we had a phone that was attached to the wall with a really long cord, and if you wanted to make privacy, you had to take that into the pantry and close the door. So.
Will that do for this? It probably won't, because I can't do my arms like that to get a thumbs up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And
we're just, everything is on. Like, you go to bed with your cell phone right next to you, just in case somebody might need you in those hours you should be sleeping, and all that stuff. There's just no checkout time.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
And it's been a lot of fun. And now I'm starting to have fun, like certain ones, though, like the one that I did that reminded me of Diamond Light, I dedicated that to Terry Holding Your Space, because she talks about Diamond Light. And I have my Jin Shin Jyutsu friend, Jenny, who's Chinese American. And so I dedicated the one with the Chinese Year of the Dragon, I dedicated to her. It means a lot to personalize them a little bit, but they're for everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for asking about them. And I hope you guys will watch them. Please share them with others. And I've also I create them specifically I don't put any extra things on the screen to distract you. Like I'm not that that's not appropriate sometimes, but my goal with those is just a gift to everybody, that you can just watch it on loop. You can go to my playlist,
sure.
You can play it over and over on loop, and then you're not being distracted by pop-ups and what's next and everything. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. And Donna said, yep, that one wall phone in the dining room that you stretched for privacy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh yeah. And Plucky Heroine is going to watch the replay. Thank you for that. And for some reason, Karen Johnson couldn't chat, so they unsubscribed and then resubscribed. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Karen.
Anything else you would like to share? I mean, this has been a great hour. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you for letting me ramble on and on. I mean, I've always got a ton of things, but I'll save that. Maybe you'll have me back and we can talk about some of my other things another day.
Yes, and I could also be on your channel if you wanted.
Okay.
I can be a pretty easy guest, contrary to popular belief.
I've heard that about you.
Oh my God.
For entertainment purposes only. Where's your card?
Oh yeah.
I'm only kidding.
For entertainment purposes only, yes. Oh my gosh, this has been great. So
Yeah, and I'm getting there. It's just now it's learning the ropes behind the scenes and having people that are willing to let me practice. Doing things like when I first started, Joan from Wisdom Seeker Joan, you know, she worked with me 5 separate times, at least an hour each, to make sure I got my technology and everything up before I
that's
had my
great.
big debut 2 years ago.
She is a wonderful reader too.
Oh, she's
Wisdom
amazing.
Seeker Joan.
Yes.
I got a reading from her that I still think about. I still watch the playback. So
I love her. And I met her. She drove across country and she came to my house.
oh, that's wonderful.
And I hadn't like hugged anybody in years because of all this. Like I've just been a total hermit. So I was so honored. I just love Joan. There's so many of them. I just love you guys. I appreciate y'all so much because you know what? Without you guys, it doesn't make much sense for us to be doing what we're doing.
Right, right. I hear you, Sherry. I hear you. I hear you. So yeah, and Joan is a beautiful soul.
Oh gosh, yes. She's the
Yes.
best.
So and this video is T-Barb approved.
Oh, thank you, T-Barb. I'm so honored. I love T-Barb. She's a great mentor for me.
That's
So
beautiful.
many wonderful people out there. And I am so grateful for all the support I've received and grateful that you've given me this opportunity, Gerald.
Of
And,
course.
it means a lot.
I want people to know about the amazing people that are here. So we've gotten you up to 572 subscribers.
Yay. Thank you, everybody.
So hang out for just a minute and we will say farewell to everyone. And thank you very much for being here. Make sure you go over and like and subscribe to Juno's channel. Go ahead.
Please, please, please,
We'll wait.
please.
Go ahead. Do it. All right.
You know you want to.
You know you want to. And, take your tiny hands over there. It's okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.